Living, 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 living with mangoes. I said living, 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 living with mangoes.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to Living with Mangoes. Juan Carlos, the school teacher here, and here I am in front of my Valencia pride tree and also my Jamaican cherry trees. These Jamaican cherry trees are loaded with cherries. Look at this, loaded. But anyway, the topic of this session is, look at that. Wow. Loaded. Anyway, the topic of this section is to show you my latest planting. I am planting some Peruvian mulberries, and I am also planting some loquats. But anyway, I'm sure you saw the little jingle in the beginning of the video where I sang living, 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 living with mangoes. And the reason I had to do that is, first of all, because this is mostly a hobby. And I enjoy singing with the kids and doing funny things like that. Even though you might not tolerate my singing, it is what it is. But anyway, also because YouTube, after 80 videos or so, I finally reached a little over 1,000 subscribers. And so it became monetized. And they said that the little jingle that I had there, the song, the actual music actually, was copyrighted when I had picked that from a song list which said it was not copyrighted. So anyway, I had to delete all that music and just leave it empty. So that's how the jingle came about. And I'm going to continue to use that jingle. Hey, the kids at school tolerate my singing, so I hope you, the adults, can be a little merciful and tolerate my singing. So with that, I'm going to take you to my latest topic and my latest invention and my latest things that I am doing. Peace. So here we are, guys. Wow, this is crazy. Look at these Jamaican cherry trees, also known as strawberry trees. Not only are they loaded with cherries, but they're getting out of control. So I'm gonna have to chop them back. They're covering my beds over here where I'm growing tomatoes and stuff. And they're also covering my Valencia pride tree that this year decided to take a year off and not produce anything. And I think most of it is because it's getting a lot of shade from these two big trees. So I'm gonna have to cut them back so the Valencia pride could continue to grow up. So anyway, latest project, the planting of white zapotes here. I planted a few white zapotes, and one of the little white zapotes actually has a little fruit hanging on there. It's still hanging on there, so let's see how long that fruit is held. But also, I decided to put some Peruvian mulberries around the area, and some loquats to serve not only as to get fruit, but also to serve as windbreakers. So there they go, Peruvian mulberries along the side. I also planted some black cherries to go against the gate. And these are delicious black cherries. The mulberries, the black cherries, and the grafts that I'm gonna get all come from the American Cuban gardener Gwendolyn, my friend. She hooked me up with those. And I hook her up with some stuff too. So we hook up each other. Anyway, I decided to also plant this tree here to serve as a windbreaker, and the mulberries right on the fence to serve as windbreakers. And here is a grafted one. This one, my friend Gwendolyn has a loquat tree, which she calls divya, and it produces extra large loquats. And when you let them grow, they turn really sweet with very little tartness, if any at all. I tend to like it a little yellow because I like some of the tardiness. But here is the graft that I did about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and it's still beautiful and green and moving forward. So I'm gonna have a divya right here. loquat. You want to know more about the divia, you could go to the American Cuban Gardeners channel and look for it there. But here are the Peruvian mulberries, looking good. And there's some seedling loquats, which I am also going to graft some more divia to it. And these guys will serve as windbreakers for who? For all of my Brazilian cherry trees. The Brazilian cherry trees, look at that. This is Jabo land, Jaboticaba land, where I planted different varieties of Jaboticaba. And so these guys are gonna serve as windbreakers for my Jaboticabas. There they go. I have yellow Jaboticabas. I have the purple variety. I have the white Jaboticaba. I have the red Jaboticaba. I have cross hybrids Jaboticabas. This is a scarlet, reds, Vexator. This is just so many different types. Novak. And here I planted some anonas. Let's start with these anonas over here. Look at that. I have to water them today. They're looking a little down, so I gotta water these guys so they can start producing flowers. But these special anonas are in a lower area. They have pond apple rootstocks, so they should be doing really well here in the near future. These types of anonas are called Cherylatus. So these are Cherylatus. Look how pretty they look, the Cherylata. And these types of anonas are anonas from Puerto Rico. These are called Corazon anonas. I have 3 of them planted here. Hopefully they'll start taking off. First time out of the pots. And the first time out of the pots for these guys too. Right here, these are seedlings of Fernandez custard apple. Some seedlings of Fernandez. And I'm also going to be planting here 3 big anonas, 2 of which are going to be San Paulo, and 1 is going to be a Priestley Atamoya. So that's going to be the latest project. Right here, I planted 2 seedling trees and 1 10 to 12-year-old tree that was in a pot for that time period. These are called canep. So hopefully soon the caneps will start taking off as well. And here, oh, look what's going on here. Look at that. These guys are already starting to fall off. These are purple passion fruit. And there goes another one there. I have to start collecting these passion fruits that are falling off. Yep. It's been hot. So they need to get more water. So I'm going to have to start spraying more water back here. Make sure they don't start to fall down too early. Okay. Look at that. Okay. And look at these guys. These guys are moringa trees. Very, very medicinal moringa trees. Very good. And I planted also some pigeon peas. Some pigeon peas here. A nice row of pigeon peas that are growing over here. These are nitrogen fixers. And of course, the pigeon peas have a lot of vitamins and minerals and protein. So I'm growing some pigeon peas here along this gate as well. Very nice pigeon peas. This one actually has some fruit growing there. So there's some blackberry fruits growing there. Let me get a closer look at that. Here we go. There goes the blackberry. Blackberry's growing nicely. Okay. And let me show you finally, look at that. It's loaded up there. Oh my goodness. All right, so let me show you the 3 trees that are going to be going into the ground. They're all 25 gallons. You have this one. Look at that, San Paulo. It's already producing flowers. You have this San Paulo Brazilian custard apple. And that's going to be going into the ground also soon. And then finally you have this one. Shout out to Nick's Edibles, where I got this beautiful tree. And shout out to Montura Gardens, where I got the 2 San Paulo trees. This tree right here is a Priestley Atamoya. Priestley Atamoya. So those are the trees that are going to be going into the ground very soon. This big avocado tree has not produced for me yet, but this one is loaded. Look at this mango tree. This is loaded. I had cut down the original tree, so this grew back from the ground up. It looks like it might be the original tree, which tasted a lot like Gary mango, but I had cut it up, and it has some weird looking mangoes too. Look at that. It has some weird ones. They don't all look alike, but they're growing nicely and in clusters. I have a feeling though that if this is not the original mango, this may be a turpentine mango. If it's a turpentine mango, then that's okay. I could use the seeds to produce grafts and produce new trees. And talking about new trees, I did a couple of grafts already. And let me just show you some of the grafts that I did. Producing new trees over here. I did a couple of grafts over here. So here I grafted a dwarf Hawaiian. Here I grafted a coconut cream. 2 coconut creams actually. Here an Alampur Banachan and another Alampur Banachan. Here coconut cream. Here Son Puri and another Son Puri here. Still nice and green. Here an Excalibur. Here a Super Julie. 2 Super Julies actually. And here I have 2 ZIL 4026s. So that's going on there. And finally, I'm going to show you a new project that I have going on here. Look at this. Look at this. These are American pawpaws. And I have different varieties of American pawpaws. I have Jerry, I have Turkson, I have Ronnie, or Ron, I have Maxwell and Powell. So I'm gonna try to grow some of these American pawpaws, different varieties, in larger pots, and see if a miracle happens and I'm able to produce fruit here in Central Florida. And with that, I'm Juan Carlos, the school teacher. See you soon. Peace. Living with mangoes.
Living, 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 living with mangoes. I said living, 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 living with mangoes.